Let's get a little weird. Let's talk about 3I Atlas, which is the interstellar object that's in our solar system right now. I'm gonna pull up a map of the sky in a minute, but I wanted to caveat this by saying that this is ultimately my favorite way to tap into limitlessness when it comes to astrology. I've been thinking a lot about how restrictive astrology is actually and how limiting it is, how I feel it is kind of a trap in the same way that any Saturnian structure is a trap. And I think it's odd because, like, Saturn is our greatest lesson in life. Mastering astrology is also an important lesson in life, but it's not something to focus on entirely, right? You can't let astrology be the main driver or the main focus of your life unless you are using astrology to get something out of it, whether that is money, a career, to advance a specific perspective, cosmology or philosophy. There's nothing neutral about the world. Everyone is using one thing to do another thing. And that's really what I'm thinking. Okay, astrology is just another trap. It's another recursion, and everything in the world is a recursion, though. And so you could pretty much say this about really any system of logic, whether it's a metaphysical woo system of logic or it is a like rational science-based or like otherwise linear system that's well accepted by the masses. Anyway, with 3i Atlas, what I like about 3i Atlas is it pushes me to the edge of what I've been thinking about in astrology. And, I've had some people ask me about what I think about it. And of course, I've been seeing it online and how much attention it's getting. We are living in an attention economy. So it makes sense to me that there's a lot of attention on this object. And I think it's purely because this is my perspective. People want to break free even out of the cage of how the celestial bodies are reflecting what is happening on Earth. Because what I think about is that object, this interstellar object, is acting like a planet would. Anything that's happening above is happening below, and so we each are also having a 3i Atlas phenomenon in our personal lives, in our inner beings, in our inner lives. And there is an amount of freedom of interpretation with 3i Atlas because we don't know what it is. It doesn't have many years of traditions. It doesn't have the backing that astrology does, where you have to either like accept it or completely reject it, right? We're just observing it right now. And so here's what I'm going to share. Um, this is, I don't know, a website that I found online. And let me be very clear. I'm pretty sure that the zodiac we're looking at right now is the sidereal zodiac, which is not the zodiac that I use. I use the Western, um, my God, the other zodiac, which is, why is it tropical? Oh my God, I use tropical zodiac. I don't think this is a tropical zodiac, but I was looking this up and I was trying to figure out from Earth's perspective right now, like where is 3i Atlas in the sky, right? Because if you think about the architecture of the heavens and the zodiac in astrology, it's like the architecture of the heavens. It's like the institution of the above, which can be just as, you know, unyielding and restrictive as an institution that we have below, kind of really depending on how we are using it. And so when an object like this comes in into our orbit, right, it just brings me to this perspective that, oh, we have something coming into our spatial architecture here, which is being affected and affecting the structural integrity of the architecture of the skies. And to that I mean the interpretive like lens of astrology through the zodiacs and just through so many conversations about energy and solar rays. I know Stephen Burns and Pam Gregory are the superstars talking about this right now, but I was just, curious about what's going on because I certainly feel like there's a weird random object in my life right now that I don't really know what to do with. But it has a lot of my attention and energy, and it doesn't necessarily fit really well, but it's there and I'm getting to know it a little bit. And so here's where I wanted to see where it is in the sky. Like, how is this weird energy being filtered through our cosmos right now, our own architecture right now, the ones that we can see, the ones that we can know, the touch points that we have, the fractal of our reality. And if we see, it's in the sidereal Virgo right now. If this is right, okay, this is the constellation of Virgo, sidereal Virgo, um, which means that it is the edge of tropical Libra. And I do not have the exact degrees for this. I don't know how to calculate that right now, but what we can see, if this is a reliable source, which I'm not even sure what's going on, I'm just experimenting here, but 3i Atlas moving through, right, the end of sidereal Virgo, which would be some point in tropical Libra, and we know that the sun right here, right now, is at the very first degrees of the sign of Scorpio. And so this space right here, just if we're thinking about it, should be the space between the end of Libra and the beginning of Scorpio tropically. And so if we think about the end of Libra in tropical astrology and this 3i Atlas being there at the end of Libra, it brings me to mind what my friend Jen of Full Cup Astrology told me, which is that this is a love thing. Libra is famously about relationships and love, but it's about you know, the the truth of love. And, Jen was telling me she had watched some videos of some people talking about how when they are channeling or, connecting to the energy of this, they just get a lot of love, a lot of big heart energy. And if it's true that this is in tropical Libra right now, that would make a lot of sense to me. There's something about the total reconfiguration of love. And I mean that relationally, like between two people, which is Libra, and how we're balancing out our lives. Um, moving away from what we think love is between two people, but also just, how I'm experiencing it in my life is like I'm having the weirdest time dating, like with new relationship energy in my life that it's nothing crazy or like huge. It's just the most interesting like presence of something that really does have me at the edge of what I know, but not in a very intense way. Okay. Libra is not a very intense sign. Libra is actually an incredibly superficial sign. Um, and it urges you to trust what you see, to trust what you are getting, and to not need to dig deep, um, and to not interpret too much into what you see because it's oddly enough our interpretations that end up we end up playing out an old story when we let an interpretation go crazy. But when we can just accept and not have a big emotional reaction, we can see things for how they are and allow them to surprise us. Okay, this is very much so a wide um, leap that I'm making here. So let me know what you think. I haven't seen anyone cover an astrological interpretation of 3i Atlas like this. So if you do know anyone who's doing this, let me know. I'd be very curious. But excuse me. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. This is probably going to be just the first part of several more videos and perspectives I want to share that's mostly really about the edge of astrology and like not using it anymore because I see it as so limiting, which is ironic because, you know, I've a few years ago quit a whole career path in order to study astrology, and I don't think that was the wrong choice, but um, I think there is an amount of freedom that we have on a soul level that simply cannot be interpreted by astrology. And yet it's the like duality of the world where we allow ourselves to craft a story and to have an opinion on things that we give ourselves and we give others um, inroads or like places to hold on to when we're all like climbing this mountain of Saturnian reality, which we can't leave. And I don't think the point is to transcend the body anymore either. And so astrology is really just a silly barometer to like check in and be like, haha, yeah, things are playing out, but it's not going to do anything for you unless you have an opinion um, that you're trying to share. And I don't think a lot of people have an opinion when it comes to astrology. Um, and I mean a specific opinion. I don't mean just like love and light, right? I mean something more specific in terms of a storyline, a very personal storyline that you're actually crafting. And yeah, so I'll end there, but let me know what you think and bye.